Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Yolanda, and in today's video I'm going to be telling you guys things that I wish I knew before I started college. So this is going to be a quick little video, but I wanted to get something in because, you know, it's that time of the year. I got 2 months left of school and I'm about to be a sophomore. I am really excited to do this video, especially for my upcoming freshmen who are going to be in college in my position next year. This time you can learn from my mistakes or things that I wish that I would have known sooner. So if you guys are excited, please be sure to give this video a huge thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe down below. Make sure to turn on post notification notified when I post. If I were you, let's get out of this video. So starting at number 1, I honestly overlooked this. I didn't realize it until I think it was a month ago. We don't have the same grading system that my other school did, and this might just be common knowledge to know, but definitely I did not know it. My last school, it's either you get an A, B, C, D, or F, but at this one it goes the whole other spectrum, and it's like A plus, A minus. And then I start looking through all my syllabus and I'm just like, oh, what are the odds of an employer looking at that like, oh, you got an A instead of an A plus, you're not good enough. Like, as long as they got the degree, I hope and pray that that'll, you know, be all that'll matter. Next thing is the extent of being a student athlete. Now this might just apply because I'm a D1 athlete, but the thing is, it's not like I go to like the top school or whatever, but like I feel like it's self-explanatory, but like at the same time, like not really. Of course, being a student is already a full-time commitment because I'm in classes that is worth being a full-time student. So on top of that, being also an athlete makes sense that it's a lot, but to the extent I never realized how much it was. I know definitely at my past school it was definitely a lot for me to juggle there because I was in 5 classes. It was only 14 credits or 15 credits actually, yeah. So I would have morning practice like at 6:30, 7 a.m. We would go to practice, then usually I'd go to the training room because there was always something wrong with me. And after, sometimes it would be weights. Like one day it would be like after practice, but another day it would be like later on in the day. But then in between that time I have, you know, school to get to. Then also on top of that, I'm a social, very like extroverted person, so a social life, right? But here I feel like my schedule is like really, I really do like it a lot, and I have enough time. Like it's like a morning block for everything to happen, and then I have the rest of the day to myself, whether that may be classes, study hall, or whatever. You know, it's a perfect amount that we like. So definitely that for sure to consider is how their schedule is like, because from school to school it can be drastically different, but you never really know until like you actually like ask or go there to experience it yourself. Next thing is, I wish I knew about the food pantry. Like I did, but I always thought that like, oh, it's only for people that are like really struggling. But if you think about it, aren't we all? Besides people that of course like wealthy or be like nepo babies or whatever. That's what pretty much I was told by the food pantry here, and they said that the more people that do get food, the more funded they will be, which I thought that was interesting how it works. But hey, free food, who can say no? And it's actually like good stuff. Like honestly, half of my groceries are that now. Literally beside me is a bag, and I have like 5 of these buttermilk pancakes, and I be stocking up, you best believe. Next one on the list is friendships. So this is very important, and honestly like such a huge lesson that I learned, especially at my previous school. But I think it's so important to recognize who are your closest friends and people that you can count on. I definitely thought that I was friends with some people, how they just didn't really care as much as I thought that the friendship was. I mean, at the end of the day, like it happens, but it's just still like, it's still kind of like an awkward thing, because it's just like, not to say that I never was a problem in the friendship ever, but it's just like, you know, especially when you put a lot of energy into a person but to see that they don't really want you around, it just kind of sucks though, especially as a freshman, because it's like you're trying to find your group, right? And so when that group is rejecting you in a sense, it's just like, so I definitely encountered like a few people or situations like that happen, and you know, I ultimately decided to keep them out of distance relationships because I realized that they only wanted to be around me when certain things were happening, but then when that was not happening, then it was just like, who you, or they would choose other people over me, and then it's just like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's so good to be in friendships where you're valued, where you're wanted just as much, where the energy is reciprocated. And that's something that I wish I just didn't spend my time on, but it's something that's essential that we have to learn through. So you know, it was bound to happen, but it's just still like, dang, you know, like a stab in my heart. You feel me? My next one is transferring. So I wish that I didn't look into a school just because of the athletic program, because y'all, we are much more than the external things that may give us a validation. And for me, that was running. It is a huge part of my life, but at the end of the day, that is not just all about me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so important to go to school that not only do you fall in love with like whatever that external validation is, so for me is that sport, but also the area, also to make sure that it's setting you up for success for your future career that I hope that you like, and just all sorts of things though. And I just wish that I had definitely factored a bunch of things, but you know, at the end of the day, I'm here, you know, I'm alive, we chilling, I love it here. Though a few things that, well, more than a few things that were just like that ultimately just, you know, led me to be here. But I'm glad to be in a better environment because it generally doesn't feel good. Like, you know, like you only understand if you do feel resentment for the school when it's just that time, and it's just like you just want to leave, and it's just like, because I know, like, even in the last few months, like, yeah, like I was gonna miss people, of course, but at the same time it's just like, okay, now, like, so I just can't wait till the time that I'll just be moved into my dorm already and everything like that. And it took me just like resenting a lot and just like kind of distancing myself from people and things because, man, a girl was just exhausted, and I just wanted to. And in the end, I did end up being happier because it's so good to be in a place where not only you are valued, but also that you love too. I feel like, you know, there wasn't a lot that tied me entirely to there because I'm just not used to that vibe, and that's 100% okay, you know. Last but not least was definitely relationships. And once again, this is like no hate, no shade to anybody because, you know, we live and we learn, we're young, you know. At the end of the day, it's not the end of the world, not a big deal. But I do definitely wish that I wasn't as invested so much into relationships, because the reality is people, especially I feel like freshmen in college, don't want anything serious. Now, of course, you're gonna get your people that, you know, do want stuff serious, but for the most part, like, let's just be real, you know, like there is a lot of people, and I encountered a few people who had no intentions of being anything more with me, and I was just like, dang. Like, it might have been like a few days I've been talking to them or whatever, but it's just still like once again, going back to the whole thing, like, I don't like wasting time for real. I don't regret any relationship that I've ever been in. Like, let me say that at first, you know, because at the end of the day, like, once again, going back to the first point, like, we're young, we're learning, you know, like, still many more people that we're gonna meet. I wish, you know, it wasn't so like, I guess the idea of being pushed on in a sense, like, you know, you see it everywhere, and it's like, how do you not want that? But it's like everywhere, no matter where you go. Even on your devices, going on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, it's like you just see it everywhere, and it's just hard not to like want like, oh, like a cute healthy relationship and yada yada yada, doing all these things, going on all these vacations and stuff. Life is so much more to being to having relationships like that. Like, yeah, like, you know, I do value and I think they are important, and I do look forward to hopefully one day having a family, of course. But I do think that also, like, especially being a freshman or just a transfer in general, like going to school, like, I know even when I came here, like, my thing was like, of course, like, oh my gosh, like, okay, so many fish in the sea, but also mainly putting the emphasis on, like, you know, girlhood, like meeting a good group of, like, a good community of girls who we can lift each other up, be there for each other through our best and, you know, worst moments. A Christian community too, like, for me, like, since I am Christian, definitely finding that community of people to lean on. And it's so important to also be your own person. Like, this is like the perfect time of our lives, and but I definitely like know, and I hear you and I feel you that like it's hard out here, like the reality is it's everywhere, love is in the air or whatever. And the temptation is real, but like honestly, like at the end of the day, like the world doesn't end if we're single. And honestly, like singleness is a gift itself, and so even if you don't find your person, whether it may be like in high school or college, or even a few years after college, like there's still time, there's more to life, and we have a bigger purpose, I feel like in our lives. And I don't know what your purpose may be, but I feel like I'm starting to kind of like figure out mine. And at the end of the day, like I want to glorify God. I want to bring others to Christ. I want him to be the one like I focus on, not so much into like because I feel like placing so much emphasis of wanting to be in a relationship with somebody, it just creates an idol. Even like marriage, and like thinking about that like all the time, like oh my gosh, like just where's my husband or whatever. Like I know sometimes we joke about it, but like it's so real though, because and I know I definitely get caught up in this sometimes. I'm just like, Lord, like bring me my man, like why can't I be blessed too? But it's just like like we're here for a bigger purpose, and it's okay to be single. I hear you, I'm with you, and y'all, that's why we got each other, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, so this is the end of the video. I really hope you guys enjoyed, because I know I did, and I really hope it was helpful. And yeah, I love you guys. Hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Peace. It's already out.